Hi everybody, welcome to Jin's Wall Street News. The US Bureau of Labor Statistics reported last Wednesday that the consumer price index increased 0.2% in February from a month ago, below expectations of a 0.3% gain. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics released last Thursday that the Producer Price Index was unchanged in February on a monthly basis, much less than expectations of 0.3%. According to the U.S. Department of Labor, the number of Americans claiming unemployment benefits fell from 222,000 to 228,000 in the week ending March 8th. 10-year Treasury yield is hovering around 4.31% as investors are waiting for the U.S. retail sales data scheduled to be released at 8:30 a.m. Monday. For the U.S. stocks, S&P 500 rose 2.13% and the Nasdaq Composite jumped 2.61% as the number of the initial jobless claims remains low by historical standards and inflation data came in lower than expectations. There's no signals of an imminent recession yet. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics reported Wednesday that the Consumer Price Index increased 0.2% in February from a month ago, up 2.8% over the last 12 months, lower than expectations of a 2.9% gain. Both the index for food and energy increased 0.2% in February. The gasoline index decreased 1%, while the index for natural gas jumped 2.5% in February. The core CPI, excluding food and energy, rose 0.2% in February from the previous month, up 3.1% year over year, slightly below expectations of 3.2%. The BLS said, quote, the index for shelter rose 0.3% in February, accounting for nearly half of the monthly all items increase. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics released last Thursday that the Producer Price Index was unchanged in February on a monthly basis, much lower than expectations of 0.3%, up 3.2% from the previous year. The index for final demand goods rose 0.3% in February. The BLS said, quote, 2/3 of the February increase in the index for final demand goods is attributable to prices for chicken eggs, which jumped 53.6%. Conversely, prices for gasoline declined 4.7%. The index for final demand services decreased 0.2% in February. The BLS said, quote, over 40% of the February decline in prices for final demand services is attributable to margins for machinery and vehicles wholesaling, which decreased 1.4%. According to the U.S. Department of Labor, the number of Americans claiming unemployment benefits decreased from 222,000 to 228,000 in the week ending March 8th. In addition, the number of Americans receiving benefits after an initial week of aid also decreased from 1,897,000 to 1,870,000 in the week ending March 1st. 10-year Treasury yield fell right after the softer than expected CPI data, but it soon rebounded as the US economy looks good. Then the yield decreased slightly right after the PPI data came in much lower than expectations, but it moved up again. However, 10-year Treasury yield suddenly fell to 4.27% due to recession fears among investors. Then the yield rises to 4.31% ahead of the US retail sales report, as investors couldn't find any signals of an imminent recession yet. For the US stocks, S&P 500 rose 2.13% and the Dow Jones Industrial Average gained 1.65%. The tech-heavy Nasdaq jumped 2.61%. Most of the US stocks rose last Friday as they are in oversold conditions due to recession fears. Shares of Nvidia jumped 5.27% as the company CEO Jensen Huang is scheduled to deliver a keynote at its GTC conference on March 18th, Tuesday. The US chip stocks also gained, and I remain optimistic on the US chip stocks. Okay, this is the end of today's news. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.